Let's get some thoughts from our guests. Joining us live in studio, we have trial attorney Kelly Hyman. Nice to see you, my friend. What are your thoughts going into this case?
It's a cold case. So 25 years ago, this happened. And I'm thinking when I hear about this case, what is new? What evidence do they have after 25 years to bring this case? And I didn't hear any about that in the opening statement. So I'm sitting here thinking, well, the prosecution potentially is holding back, is going to wait and maybe have some kind of DNA expert or something along those lines to help substantiate their case.
Well, you have the dad of this victim who was eliminated by police early on, but he had multiple victims from the 70s that he was later, it was a cold case, and he was arrested on in 2003. How easy of a target is that for the defense to say, look at her serial killer father, don't look at her abusive husband?
Definitely could do that because that's going to be one of their potential arguments as well. Well, of course, and also the prosecution has to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt, but he didn't do it. Let's look to someone else. Let's look at someone else who could potentially do the crime.
You know, are you expecting a lot of digital evidence and a lot more than just DNA when we are talking about a cold case? I mean, off camera we've spoken, you know, I think that we're in the age now where people are watching the CSIs and they're expecting that in the courtroom.
Yeah, the shows are very popular about these cold cases, 25 years, 30 years. Now we have to remember that technology has advanced. So hopefully that had something to do with it because of time, that they can now have the DNA to help substantiate the case. But I definitely see in this case that DNA is going to be key. Definitely an expert, potentially a battle of the experts for the prosecution and then the defendants as well.
Sure. I would expect more DNA perhaps than the digital because we're talking about the 1990s. And perhaps we don't have the same that we would expect now, but these jurors may be looking for that.
They have to make that connection.
Absolutely.
All right, you're going to be sticking with us all hour long. I appreciate that. Let's bring in our guest here to discuss. Joining us in studio, we have trial attorney, friend of the program, Kelly Hyman. So, you know, at the core of all of this, you've been talking to us off camera. You know, your thoughts on this is just such a family tragedy.
It's a horrible tragedy. I mean, we look at it from the children's standpoint. You had these two young children that lose their mom. They're told that their mom basically abandoned them, so they have to grow up their whole life thinking that their mom left them. Then they find out that their father, their grandfather, is a serial killer. They grow up with their father's mother, and then their father is being charged with the crime of killing the mother, and now they're going to testify in this case.
Wow.
This unbelievable case all around. And I'm wondering if the jury is wondering, did we just speed over the part of the grandfather being the one to come forward? Now, we're talking in terms of these children, but Carl Patton, he is someone who admits to police to being a serial killer. He pleads guilty, and he's the only one who is able to connect the fact that he's got a missing daughter, and they connect that to, oh, we do have this missing woman in the morgue. I mean, the idea that in this family they decided to use this opportunity of sorts to then get attention for Melissa. I mean, that is so strange, and I'm wondering if this jury is like, wait a minute, rewind that.
Trying to process everything and understand who the players are in this case. We talked about like the opening statement from the prosecution. Usually I don't like demonstrative aids, but I think it would have been helpful to kind of lay out who these players are. Here's the the grandfather, here's the mother, here's the father, so they can get a sense of what exactly happened in this case.
And I really think that they are going to drive that home in the defense case and in their opening statement. Maybe connect the dots a little bit more. Their defense statement might be a little bit more clear.
Yes, or they might not give any type of, as we say, when I used to intern at the public defender's office, you just basically talk about the prosecution has the burden of proof. They have to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. You're innocent until proven guilty. They might just do that.
Kelly Hyman, thank you so much.